So Jeannie, it's so good to have you here again today. We are talking about the new Supervision in Action Skills and Development Consultation group coming up. And a lot of people are asking about it. They want to know what we're doing. And so I thought we'd just chat about what we're doing and why, and maybe even recap, because we ran this last year. It was so successful, and we have room for more people to jump in and join us this year. So welcome. And could you start off by telling us what your vision is for this group?
Well, the reason I was interested in doing it is because, first off, I love doing supervision, and I think most of us who are really good clinicians didn't get a whole lot and still don't get a whole lot of training and help on what the research says makes supervision most effective and kind of how to go about that. The other part that made me want to do it is the ones I've gone to often are really focused, and rightfully so, on the details of the BBS regulations. And that's important also, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit more around the process of supervision and the research around supervision.
Absolutely. And we are required to take these courses for laws and stay up on that. And that's wonderful. You're right. But it really doesn't answer some of those nitty gritty questions of what do we actually do with that supervisee in the room? What's the process of it? So yeah, I can agree with my experience. I didn't know where to go from there either. So Jeannie, how can people join this group?
What they can do is they're going to go online to Clinical Buddies, and the structure of the training is that you have to first have either gone last year to the live training, or you can get it online. We recorded it, and it's a 5-hour 5 CE training. And in addition to that training, once you've taken it, you're also invited to a monthly online consultation. And we did that last year, and we're going to continue doing that this year. So I'm really hopeful that folks will join us to get their questions answered at a little bit more of a kind of a granular level.
If they already went to the training, we know because we saw them there, we were there. And so they can sign up for the group and come for free, and then purchase CEs if they want, because now we're allowed to get CEs for consultation groups. So yay, thank you, BBS. We're going to enjoy that a lot. And then if you haven't, you'll go watch the video, catch up. We'll get you all the materials too. There is a very big resource manual that you developed last year that they will get access to digitally. They'll get the recording, they'll get the PowerPoint, they'll get everything to catch up, and they'll get to take the post-test so they can be right alongside with us. And then they'll get to come and show up for the group. I really enjoyed the group last year. I thought it was so organic. It was so great to connect with other clinicians and still learn at the same time. There's always areas to work on with clinical supervision. How were the groups for you last year? What did you like about it?
I love them. First off, they were really well attended, so that was exciting.
Yeah, they were.
And then the second part of it is, we're a learning community. I also get to learn. So people would ask questions, and we'd kind of go, we're not sure, but we're going to do some research about that and get back to you. So yeah. I think everybody said that they found it really useful and really centered on kind of whatever your emerging needs are as a supervisor.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now we're getting a lot of questions about people who haven't been a supervisor before that we have invited to join us. So for people who haven't supervised yet, who joined the training and the group last year, how do you think that they interacted with the material? Was it useful? Tell me more about that.
I felt like that went really well. That people who are not yet at the point in their career where they're able to supervise, or even folks that maybe haven't supervised, they could, but they haven't yet, and they're not sure if they want to. It really seemed like the material was useful enough, whether you're being supervised or you're just kind of thinking, ooh, that's kind of scary. Do I want to do that? It seemed like it was a really good place to kind of figure more out about what you think of being a supervisor, or eventually being a supervisor, or being supervised.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of like wading into the shallow end of the pool and just taking a lay of the land and seeing, is this something I want to do in my career? I've heard so much trepidation from clinicians on, I'm scared to supervise. What if I lose my license? What if I miss something? And so I think there's a lot of pressure to do it, and there's a lot of pressure to do it well. So this is a great opportunity to explore if it's a good fit for you. And probably to feel a lot more prepared when you start, to know what things to be looking out for.
And what you'll get if you take the course is you're going to get, as a supervisor, in those materials that come with it, you're going to get a curriculum, sort of like, what do you do the first few times you meet? What do you do in the middle? Do I know, the questions we ask ourselves, do I know enough to share and kind of teach someone else? And what I would say is, if you have been a practicing clinician, you know enough. If you are good with clients, those are transferable skills to supervision. So it's maybe not for everyone, but it'd be a good chance for you to find out if it's for you.
That's true. And, even if you come through the course and decide that you don't want to supervise, or at least not right now, I personally felt like the course sharpened my clinical skills, reminded me to take that to the next level and apply those things back in practice. When you're off doing your own thing for a long time, coming back to these foundations is so essential. And then the benefit of being able to talk with peers. Can you tell me more about that more strategic level of consultation, what that was like?
Yeah, I actually was thinking a lot about my friends in private practice and the people I've trained that are in private practice settings, because what they tell me all the time is, even though if that was a perfect choice for you in your life in terms of how you want to practice, it can be really isolating. Yeah. So doing supervision actually is one way that some folks in private practice kind of deal with that isolation, not just seeing clients all day, but also doing some supervision. Then this format also gives you an opportunity to, at least once a month, sit down and talk with other clinicians who are doing what you do, and kind of hearing, oh, I worry about that too. Oh, I don't need to worry about that. So it's been a really rich support environment on top of kind of a learning environment. Yeah,
and 9 o'clock in the morning, perfect time. Grab our coffee, we sit together, and then we start our day feeling supported and even intrigued. There's lots of things to look into and lots of different approaches, learning from just the wisdom in the room. I think is really fascinating too, all the unique personalities and approaches to the same problems. It's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all for people problems, which makes a lot of sense. And when the stakes are a little bit higher because you're shepherding someone's career, I think we really want to do a good job and take care of them. Yeah.
It can be scary, but I think it's not any more scary but different from being a clinician. It's kind of like, we want to be our best relational self, and we want to be helpful to people. So the skills in being a clinician or are developing are the same skills you can apply to supervision. So if you're not sure if that's for you, come check it out, see what you think.
Yeah. That's great. And it is a confidential group. So if you're sharing about a case or something specific, it's not going to be recorded to, protect your supervisees. This is closed box. Everybody's protected just like we do in group therapy. It's not group therapy, but you do get that support. So,
yes. And I want to say, in both the training and in the ongoing consultation, one of the things we talk about is, the part where, what do you do if the person you're supervising is just kind of not quite up to standard? How do you be the best supervisor for helping them get there? So it's not all just how do you maximize the great relationship and the really amazing supervisees you're going to get, but also, what if you get one that's kind of struggling a little bit more? This will give you support in the consultation group for making that decision, and the training also has information about how to kind of navigate through that.
And just to go back to the training, people can purchase the training online, watch it and catch up. But in a nutshell, what can they expect from the training that we did last year?
We talk a lot about, because it's very solid in the research, the importance of having people around you who are regulated, who are kind of able to be safe people who are relational, because that's how people learn. So we kind of start with those kinds of basics. We talk a bunch about what does the research say makes supervision most successful. And, it's a combination of teaching, supporting. There are developmental stages in supervisees. So you kind of have to have a skill set that's a little bit different as you're kind of growing with them. And then I think I said curriculum around that. So kind of like where do you start in the beginning of the year with someone? Then what kinds of information do you want to be sure to kind of be bringing in the second part? And then as you end with folks, because that can be a really fraught emotional part too, how do you kind of navigate that as you're launching them out into the world?
Absolutely. And I remember we also talk a lot about brain science and regulation in deep depth, because not only are we regulating ourselves, but we're helping a trainee or associate regulate themselves to regulate their client. It's like meta regulation. We're breaking all these kinds of walls.
There isn't a skill, or there isn't a concept that's more important about that than that in the research. Everything that they're finding in the science of our profession goes back to, if you don't have a safe relationship with a regulated person, you're not going to be able to absorb any of that complex stuff. So yeah, we talk a lot about the whys and hows of that.
So we can get a crash course. 5 hours isn't really a crash course, is it? It is a full course. You get everything. But then we get to talk about, break it down week by week. We cover a little bit in a consultation group, and then we explore what's relevant in our lives, and then also with the content. So it's a great way to learn, not just to hear it once, but to go and to apply it over the course of a year, really, to see how things are implementing, troubleshoot with each other, and feel really confident and prepared in what we're doing. Yes. So that's great.
And I'll just underline, the consultation groups that are monthly, if you take the course, are free unless you want CEs. And in that case, there'll be a fee for the CEs. But you can choose to join. You can take the course and not join us for the monthly consultations, or you can join us for the monthly consultations whenever you can, or you can join us for the whole series. That's your call.
Yeah, that's great. Perfect. And we're going to have a special coupon code for whoever watched this today to just get a discount if they would like to buy that video if they weren't able to attend, to say thank you for joining us. And we hope that you will come. This was amazing for all of us who participated last year. I think between 10 and 15 people throughout the year found it so beneficial that it was asked to come back. And we're so thankful, Jeannie, that you're wanting to do this again, that you're excited about it, and to see other people, more people to come in and benefit from this community we're building. So thank you.
Well,
again.
We had a lot of fun too. So
we did. You can't not have fun.
That's right. Don't
all right,
unless you're willing to have some fun.
You got to laugh a little bit at 9 a.m.
That's right. That's right.
With your coffee and as we eat our breakfast together. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks again, Jeannie.